Welcome to Hold On Mate podcast. I am Luke, and this gorgeous guy here is Odin. I'm a little bit nervous because plans change, and this is the first episode, so I have no idea how it's going to go, how you guys are going to take it, if anyone's even going to watch it apart from my mum. So let's crack on and see how we go. To be honest with you, the podcast was not supposed to look like this. Originally, it started as two mates who both care quite strongly and have a passion for men's mental health. Two mates who have struggled with their own mental health and are still struggling. No one is fixed. But anyway, the format has now changed, and that's all right. So let's go. Let's get this episode started. And firstly, if you've made it this far, thank you, because I'll probably waffle on loads, but that's what a podcast is. I suppose one of the things that's worth bringing up today is kind of lesson number one, really. Plans do change, and life doesn't always go the way we expect it to go. Relationships, friends, careers, goals. And I think a massive part of, for myself anyway, a massive part of learning to how to deal with certain situations and coming through a really dark place is having that ability or being able to learn to adapt to certain situations and adapt to change. I'm a stickler. So something about me, I'm an absolute stickler for routine. I love going to the same cafe because I know the food's good. I know the service is good. I know that if the service isn't great, it's a one-off. That is a massive thing for me. If I go to somewhere new and the service is shit, then it just puts me off. I get agitated. I get frustrated, and I'll probably just never go back. So something that I've had to learn massively is to adapt to change and put myself out there. And that kind of goes back to this podcast, really. I have had to adapt to change, and it would have been really easy for me to cancel the idea, delete the podcast, pretend it never existed. And actually, for me, I feel so strongly about men's mental health, and I feel like where I'm personally at the moment in my life and mentally and what I've experienced and been through so far has taught me so much. And one of those major things is resilience. And if I can talk about some of my experiences and someone who's listening or watching can relate to just one thing I've said, and it helps them move forwards and survive another day, essentially, or wake up another day, or go to the gym, or whatever it might be. But if it helps, then this is going to all be worth it. Even if I feel like I'm embarrassing myself right now, having a chat essentially to myself, because if no one listens, that's all I'm doing. But hey ho, who cares? I think the other thing, just lastly on that, is sometimes, and I've only really learned this in the last year, but when something feels like a setback, it really isn't a lot of the time. I'll give you an example. I got made redundant from this company. I was really enjoying it there. It put me in a pretty shitty place, and I felt very depressed. I was drinking quite a lot. I wasn't going to the gym. I wasn't training. And I also wasn't going out, so I wasn't socializing either. And I was trying to go for cycles because I enjoy cycling. I was trying to go for cycles, but actually, I was going for cycles with a hangover, and I wasn't actually enjoying it. I was doing it because I thought I had the discipline, but actually, what it was motivation to tell myself I was fine. So I don't know if anyone can understand what I'm saying there, but yeah, that was a real sort of setback. But where I'm at now, and I look at it now, is that happened because, and it's a bit of a mad process actually. So I got made redundant. I'm a project manager in construction, and I was working consultancy, and I got made redundant. Long story cut short, I then got employed by a company who did construction. They wanted someone doing business development director role. And I took the role because I needed an income. I had no money. I was just broke. I had nothing, and I was behind on all my bills, etc. And going through a breakup at the time. So yeah, it wasn't a great place to be at that point. And I was definitely suffering quite heavily with my mental health. I'd also just been diagnosed with ADHD. I think it was around that time that I was diagnosed. I'm sure it was, or it was just after anyway. But I was just diagnosed with ADHD. So all these things were happening. None of them were positive, and I suppose that process of me joining that company as a business development director made me realize and appreciate, okay, well, I've got this income now, which is great again. They actually offered me 40 grand less than they initially talked about. But anyway, I needed the money, so I took it. But from there, I was like, right, this is the start. This is the start of my little strategy here. So I've now got some money to do something. I've got money to get to some other interviews. And I did this job. It was working from home, few meetings here and there in London and all that kind of stuff. And then I interviewed with this company who were back in consultancy project management, and it was a project management role. I hate sales. I've done it. I was good at it, and I don't want to do it again. But anyway, I joined this company, and then I went to interview for this other PM consultancy, and they said basically that if they could afford to pay me, they would have paid me what I wanted. And I was gutted because I really, really wanted this job, but I didn't get it because apparently I was too expensive. Whether that's the case or not, who knows? But it's better than being told your shit. And also, I had an income, so I wasn't overly bothered about it at that point. And then a couple of days later, I got a phone call from this bloke who is now my boss, saying that I was recommended to him from this company that I'd interviewed with, and that he needs to employ me. So I think my point is, and that wasn't the short story really, was it? But episode 1, so let's just give me a break. Don't take the piss or put some harsh comments just yet. But the point is, that was a massive setback because I'd gone from enjoying being able to do things that I wanted to do to then feeling like, oh my God, I'm never going to be happy. I'm never going to get this job that I want. I'm applying for all these jobs. No one's coming back to me. Is it me? Then I'm getting self-conscious about myself. And then I get offered this job, loads more money, by a guy that has never seen my CV. My interview was a quick chat in his car, and it's the best job I've ever had, and I'm still there, and I've just finished my first project, which has been the most exciting, complex, logistical nightmare, but fun project I've ever done. So what feels like a setback isn't always a setback. You just got to ride the wave, go with the flow, and just know that everything turns out for a reason. So yeah, I think plans change, but plans change for a reason is my kind of thinking behind it now. So I'm not very good at looking at the camera, by the way, or making eye contact in general. So it's going to be awkward, but hopefully what I'm saying is better than how I'm looking. Anyway, so I digress. That's kind of my lessons learned this week. Plans change. I suppose this is the first episode, so I really should explain why Hold On Mate exists, I suppose. There's a few reasons. The initial concept was two mates to discuss their relationship and experiences with two men, but men's mental health. What worked for them, what didn't work for them. Try and explain why fitness is such a great remedy, therapy, medication, whatever you want to call it. I always say it's my medication, to be honest, but other people might call it different things. So why does Hold On Mate exist? Well, I've always had a pretty strong passion for men's mental health, especially. And that doesn't mean that this podcast is only for men. It just means that I'm able to talk openly and honestly about my mental health. And if you are a woman listening to this or watching this or whatever you're doing, maybe some of the things I say over however many episodes we do, maybe some of the things I say you can actually relate to and think, that's why my husband, my son, my boyfriend, my fiance, my brother, maybe you can say, now I understand why they do that. So this podcast is not exclusively for men to listen to. This is for me to try and help people understand certain situations they may be put in or may put others in, and how those can be overcome. And Jesus Christ, I've got many, many stories to tell. Not all bad. This is not all about feeling shit. This is about fitness, resilience, mental health, honest conversations, definitely honest conversations, and asking the questions that men should be asking, but we just don't for some reason. I've actually made some notes on my little laptop here, so I'm just going to scroll through a few of these because I don't want to make this podcast crazy long. So just a couple of bits about me, but I've had some pretty difficult periods in my life. I've lived in the UK, New Zealand, Australia, Thailand. I've always planned on staying in Australia, and one of the biggest things, I would say actually the thing that started my depressive state was having to leave Australia when I didn't want to. And that put me in such a down and out mindset about life and not being in control. I hate to not be in control of my own destiny. So, yeah, there were some seriously difficult periods. I lost my son, George, in 2022. That was probably one of the most difficult times of my life. And this boy here is one of the only reasons I'm still here, if I'm honest with you. He got me out of bed every single day, even when I didn't want to, but I knew I had that responsibility. So, yeah, there's been some difficult times. I lost my driving license, drink driving. There's been some difficult periods, but but also there's been some absolutely awesome, amazing periods as well. And I want to talk about both. There were days when I didn't want to get out of bed at all. There were days where I would be working from home and I would buy 3 bottles of wine at lunchtime because I just knew I could get away with it. And I thought it was fun, but actually I was just masking how unhappy I was and how lonely I was. So yeah, there's been a few struggles for me. And I suppose I'm now comfortable enough in my own skin to openly talk about them with you guys. And hopefully the podcast can continue. I think some of the things that massively helped me with how I was feeling, I mean, the main one for me is sport. I've done sport for so many years, and every single time, so many times, I felt terrible. I felt shit. I've drunk solid for 3 months. I've partied. I've got on the gear, all that kind of stuff. And then something clicks. I'm like, no, I can't do this. I'm going to go and train. I'm going to go sober for 3 months, or I'm not going to drink for 3 months, or teetotal, I used to call it. I'm going to go teetotal for 3 months. And I'll do 3 months and I'll feel great again and I'll be fit. And that's what I'd go and do. But actually, you'd go and do it and then I would reward myself for being fit and healthy. So I'll do 3 months of getting my 6-pack back and losing all the beer weight. And then 3 months would be up. It's almost like I set myself a date. It's like my job. I have a project, has a start date and an end date. And at the finish of that project, I would then go and party again for 3 months because I've done so well that from not drinking or not going out or not doing gear, that I would reward myself by doing what I basically have just stopped myself from doing. I mean, how stupid does that sound? But that is the cycle. And I can almost guarantee 99% of you that are listening to this are probably nodding away going, fucking hell, that's exactly the same process or cycle that I've been through X amount of times. So from there, I mean, what's really helped me is sobriety. And I now call it sobriety rather than being teetotal or going sober for a bit or not drinking at the moment. It is sobriety. And something clicked in my head where I just thought, I do not want to drink anymore. And it's been 205 days, I think now. So pretty good. Yeah, it's that has changed my life. I stopped drinking when I knew that I was going to get medication for my ADHD. So that was kind of my trigger point, I would say. I wish I knew when I was younger what I know now about how good you can actually feel by not drinking. Those early mornings, the coffee, being present, the relationships with family, the relationships with friends as well, not being irritable, all those things. I just don't particularly have them anymore. The only time I get irritable is when I'm hungry, but I think that's just standard. There's loads of things that helped, and I think there'll be good subjects to talk about over the next X amount of episodes. So what can you guys expect from Hold On Mate? What does it mean firstly? Is that the right decision, or are you just doing that because that's what you think is a quick fix? To other people, hold on mate might mean hold on for one more day, mate. Just one more day. If you hold on for one more day, you're going to feel better. You might feel better. So it's got a few meanings to it, and all of them are relevant. So interpret it how you want. And it'll be interesting to see what guests think Hold On Mate means to them. So what can you expect from Hold On Mate? There's gonna be a lot of solo episodes. I don't want to have guests every week. I want to just, have a chat to you guys every week, and hopefully we can get some subjects together. I've already got a bunch of subjects because I put a post out on Instagram recently and loads of you responded. So thank you for that. And thank you for the support. But I need to go through them all and put a plan together. There's going to be a bunch of different guests coming on. I've got guests already lined up. They are not all about how mental health has made them suicidal. I don't want it to be like that. I want this to be about men's mental health and how their journey has been helped with fitness and exercise and community and talking, and maybe having some of the harder conversations, but also having a lot of the fun conversations. What helped? Because if you're struggling right now and you're listening to what helped someone else, maybe you'll give that a go and it will help you. So, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a motivational speaker, but this is this is something that I feel I have a duty to do. I have tried to take my own life once, by the way. I haven't mentioned that yet. And I have that. I really was rock bottom. I called an ambulance on myself because I took an overdose and then realized I didn't want to die. I thought I was dying. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I ended up in hospital with a drip in my arm. I had to send the most embarrassing, awful, regretful text message to my mum and my sister. And yeah, I haven't thought about that message in a long time. I don't even know if I have it anymore. I think I tried to block it out. I haven't thought about that in so long. Yeah, we'll go into that one. That was a shit day. What was crazy about that day, just quickly, is I actually went on a massive hike around Box Hill in Surrey with Odin and felt really motivated to be fit and healthy. And I don't know what happened, but something fucking went, some wire went wrong in my head. And that afternoon and evening just destroyed me and nearly destroyed my friends and family around me. So I feel really fortunate to still be here. And there's a lot of people that I wish were still here as well. And they're not. So yeah, that's going to be a tough episode to talk about, but we'll get there. We'll get to that point. I think ADHD is going to be a good one. Future episodes, fitness, grief, life lessons, and I suppose just like real conversations, really. I want to finish each episode and just say what's helping me hold on. What is helping me hold on right now? And this week, for me, what's helping me hold on right now, the fact that I've just finished this project. I know I've got another project coming my way. I've got payday soon. The sun is out. And I have a fantastic partner, Chloe, who is so supportive. The other thing that is helping me hold on right now is the support, actually, that I've received both via Instagram, the Hold On Mate podcast Instagram, and by just friends and family on doing this. That's what's helping me hold on this week. I'm going to leave it at that. I really, really hope that you enjoyed listening to episode 1. It's not clean cut. It's not a polished movie. It's not some fancy podcast recording studio. This is my living room, and that's how I want it to be. So I'd love to see some comments on episode 2. What would you like to discuss? What do you think we should talk about? I'll have a think as well. So for now, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to say hold on, we've got this, and see you in a week.